What is going on, power to the ground, people? I don't know what Tiller is doing up there. He's doing weird Tiller things. And, of course, he's 10 feet tall, so he towers over his desk when he is standing up. But either way, opening round of Pro Motocross finally started. I'm super excited. We're going to get into that today. But before we do, I want to give a big shout out to BROTACO Hot Sauce. Sean over there at BROTACO, hooking up power to the ground listeners with 20% off. All you have to do is use code PTTG for your 20% discount on some of the best hot sauce that there is. Also want to give Sunstar Sprockets and Chains a big shout out. They are offering our listeners 30% off. All you got to do is go to sunstar-breaking.com, email support, and use something with power to the ground in the subject or the email. Get 30% off. Doesn't matter what it is, something related to the show, and they're going to hook you up. Also, with round one means pick'ems. So stop on over at power2theground.com. Get you on that pick'ems board. Tiller has been slaving away, cleaning it up, getting it all ready to rock and roll. It didn't help me at all. I got my butt kicked this weekne. He sent me my score, and I asked him if all he did was add up my 250 scores, not my 250 and my 450. No, I was just that bad. So stop on over there, power2theground.com. Get in on some pick'ems. I didn't even really look at who was above me. I was so far, I pretty much had to scroll down to see my name. That's the first time that's happened in a while.
I think we were both tied for last, actually.
Oh, were we?
Yeah.
Holding it down, dude.
Very down.
Right? I feel like farm truck, dude. Michael said he never remembers the pick'ems.
Well, the good news, Mike, is that the scores were so bad this round for half of us. You still got a chance to come around for the next 11 rounds and catch up and possibly win.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, mine was bad. I got a total of 4 points. That's all four motos. I got 4 points. That is bad. That is worse than my worst round of 250s in Supercross.
Well, that just speaks to part of probably what we'll get into, but we have to pick the top five. You get some sway points for getting just the general makeup of the top five right. They don't have to be exactly the position, but that's just how many guys there are that we all thought could be in the top five and weren't this time. And really only one or two of them completely wrecked out, like Cameron McAdoo. The rest of them just didn't get five.
Yeah, luckily I didn't pick McAdoo. But the rest of my stuff was a literal shit show. It was bad. I haven't done that bad in a while. So,
well, there were people that everybody who played, pretty much, I think all of us picked, that didn't even make it into the top five.
Is that what that little graph thing was that you sent me earlier, the long one?
Yeah.
I transferred it over here. I was going to ask you if you could break it down because I had no idea what I was looking at.
Oh, yeah. It's just the breakdown to the top 10 submissions this weekend, just kind of what they submitted and if they got it right or even close to not. We can take a look at it later if you want. Yeah,
for sure. That's other than that, we can jump right into 250s. Speaking of McAdoo, so your 250 overall, Fox Raceway Impala, California, round one. Jet Lawrence taking home his first overall, I believe. Right, he didn't have an overall last year, just a moto win.
Just that last moto win.
Followed by Jeremy Martin. Apparently, I forgot to put the J in front of Martin. but that is Jeremy Martin, not Alex. Then you got Justin Cooper, Michael Mosiman, and RJ Hampshire. I feel like Mosiman and Hampshire definitely messed up a lot of people's teams this week.
Oh, for sure. In this and other ones, I think I've said it. I like Mosman. I think he's a cool kid. I like his personality. I like his mindset, the way he talks about things, the way he thinks about things. I did not think, basically, like one of my other fantasy things, I didn't even think that he was going to be around 10th.
Ouch.
Seeing the way he rode those last couple of rounds in Salt Lake City, he didn't seem to have it together,
Yeah.
I was like, I just don't know. I need to see one round of him putting together 2 30-minute motos without just royally screwing something up and hurting him and like taking himself out effectively, And
he did that this week.
He showed me wrong. So wrong.
Yeah, that's apparently Michael picked him. Got 100 points.
Yeah, he maxed out for some of the other people that picked some other stuff, but yeah, it was crazy. He just put on a quiet ride. A lot of the 250 stuff, both motos, most of it was right there up at the front in the first two the whole time. They swapping positions, changing it up. Jet and Jeremy effectively kind of tying for first with Jet's second moto win to being the tiebreaker there to give him the overall. He earned it this weekend. He went out there.
He rode
good. Performed.
That's there was a couple of the 250 guys that threw me off a little bit that I just wasn't necessarily ready for, whether it was good or bad. And that was Austin Forkner, Shimoda, and then you had Fry, Volholland, and who's the other one that I was like, what? How's he so far up there? Oh, Marchbanks. He was up a little further than I thought he was going to be. And that those guys, like in particular, I thought Forkner was going to come out swinging a little harder than what he did. Same with Shimoda. But the other ones, Fry, Volholland, and Marchbanks, I did not expect them to come out swinging as hard as what they did. Like they threw me off a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I think Voland was the surprise of the weekend. When he raced Supercross, he put in some good rounds, but there's a difference between having a few good Supercross rounds your first try, if you're just that good at it, and then also coming out to outdoors and putting on rides like that, 2 motos in a row, with his first moto finish being so bad because his bike broke.
And he got he ended up with a hole shot as well.
Yeah. I mean, he's apparently got some sort of skill,
Yeah.
I think it's obviously we're going to need to see him last 12 rounds, which even if he doesn't, no big deal. It's his first time.
Yeah.
Racing 24 motos in the outdoors. If he doesn't make it all 12, that's totally fine. He just, he showed that he's got some skill at least on the first round. Fry, for me, I think he did really good when you look at the finishing rank there for him. A 13-14 for 12th overall. Yeah, after his Supercross season, no way. Would have never guessed that he'd held it together like that for 2 30-minute motos out there. Then again, maybe some people just don't get it for Supercross because of the difference. Maybe he can just go out there and suffer and ride like a beast for an hour on a weekend. That's awesome because there were some guys out there that he beat. He beat Styles, Pierce Brown, Seth Hammaker. I mean, Styles and Hammaker are still relatively
new
freshmen, effectively. He beat his teammate Thrasher, who for the most part, kind of really showed him up in Supercross. He beat Alex Martin, which I think Alex was kind of at the bottom of the range where I thought he was going to be. He beat some good guys this weekend. So, yeah, Fry, give it to Fry for sure on that. I think he put together a good ride.
Yeah, he didn't do bad. That's for sure. I mean, I don't know. It's hard because they don't really focus on him that much.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of like, I can't remember like his race. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at the guys above him, they jumped around positions pretty good, except for Jalete to also, for him to go out there and put together a 12-13 for an 11th overall. Those two were pretty consistent to go out there and just put together solid rides.
Yeah.
And I think for Fry, if he goes out there and he can get 10th, 11th, 12th every weekend, it's probably going to be pretty good. You know? Just because the 10 guys that could potentially get above him are pretty solid guys, right? And there's still some guys potentially behind him that could easily finish above him too, like Max, Pierce Brown, Hammaker, Thrasher, maybe Alex Martin. I was kind of expecting to see a bit more out of Carson Mumford. I mean, he pulled a 15th off in Moto 2, but that first Moto wasn't that great for him. Something might have happened out there for him to not finish that well.
I'm not sure. I tried really hard to find McAdoo's wreck as well, and I couldn't find it anywhere. Like nobody got tape of it that I could find, and that drove me a little crazy.
Yeah, they were talking about that. Actually, I was just watching it right now. I'd heard on the review show, on Pulp's review show, that they were talking. I missed it on Saturday, but when they had the camera guy out there trying to get him, when they were putting him on the mule or whatever, that the pro circuit, the mechanic or whatever, kept trying to block the cameraman.
Yeah, I did see that,
and I didn't even catch it, and it was just up just now, and I looked over and saw it, and it was, I don't know. Apparently, it's just his knee's pretty messed up, and he won't know anymore until later this week. But he's probably not going to win anything this season. So
that's not good, man.
No. Who knows? Depending on how bad it is, maybe he just pulls a Jeremy Smith and is like, "Screw it, I'm not racing outdoors," and come back Supercross 22 and win me a Gumby title. I think, but even the top battle, like the top 1 through 5 each race, was pretty damn exciting.
Yeah,
this week it wasn't somebody ran away with it. I was watching the lap times real hard during this race, and it was so exciting because there was a time. You're out there, you're running 2-minute 20 to 2:25 lap times on these 250s, right? Something weird could happen with lappers or something, and you could easily add a second to your lap time just from not getting a good drive up the hill, especially at this track or something like that. But there were times in both motos where those top guys were able to just click it and drop a second or two off their lap times. I remember there was one race, I can't remember if it was Moto 1 or Moto 2. I think it must have been Moto 1 when Martin won, where he was doing it, and then all of a sudden he just dropped a second to 2 seconds off his lap times for a little bit to make some moves and catch up, and it was insane. And then watching he and Jet kind of go back and forth doing the same thing in Moto 2 as Cooper started to fade, that was so exciting watching those two get down there in those faster lap times and just kill it. Because even they were pretty much right there at the end running the same lap times. Jet was just a hair bit faster than Jeremy was on the lap times, to keep eking it out lap after lap and stay in front of him.
Yeah.
It was exciting to see those guys out there just, like I said, just cutting seconds off the lap time when they needed to at a certain point in the moto. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's Jet and Sexton both had interesting lines to that. through the just before the finish line, like the little weak table roller section or whatever it was. I don't even know how to properly like describe that section, but they definitely had interesting lines that I didn't really see too many other people taking, where they would kind of wheelie up to it and just kind of drop their front wheel over it, almost like a Mad Skills type scrub. It was pretty entertaining, and it worked out for him. I thought Sexton looked really good through there, and I think that was the line, man. They gained a lot of speed through there.
Oh yeah, because it was a lot. I think a lot of the bigger moves, and that was one of the complaints I heard about. The track was just that a lot of the other stuff was relatively one lined, or ish. There wasn't a lot of passing necessarily. I don't think it was one line, but there wasn't much passing until when you got closer to the finish line and near the mechanic section, where there was some more of the 180s.
Yeah,
and stuff. There, I think that's just maybe the nature of the way the track worked out that day. There were a lot of people a lot of the riders were making complaints about the way they did it over the course of the day with just the watering and then some of the way they kind of redid some of the obstacles that week and whatnot. But
that track got rough, man.
Yeah,
it got beat up. I mean, you could see it, especially in the 452. Like that track got whooped on like a redheaded stepchild, man. Like it was bad. I thought it was bad, but then like you listen to the Weed Show and you hear Weejack ask Ansi, like, what'd you think of the track? Was it one lined? And he's like, if you want a one line track, go to Europe. Because America doesn't have a one line track. We just have guys that don't want to pass.
Yeah, I think Hunter maybe had a pretty. I wish I could remember off the top of my head what it was, but I'm not going to misquote him. But he had a pretty interesting commentary about in the press conference. I think it was. They were asking kind of the difference between a track like this to over there, and then also Mathis was in his post race like kind of one-on-one interviews. He was interviewing. Make sure I get his name right. Oh, where'd it go? Alessandro Lupino.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to misquote him, but I think it was a similar sentiment about, the tracks are much different over here than they are for that similar kind of reason.
Yeah, I don't know. It was, before we get too deep in the track talk, though, let's jump over to the 450s and knock that out, and then we can circle back if we need to, because like I said, the 450 tracks, I mean, you probably saw it with your little lap time analysis stuff, but it got whooped on pretty bad, man. So it's taking the overall for the first round was Ferrandis, Roxon coming in second, Plessinger coming in third, Barsha coming in fourth, and Sexton coming in fifth. And luckily, it's the first race of the series, so that's your point standings as well. But it's
tied for second.
Yeah, that's weird to me. Just the way some of the outdoor stuff works out, where like you're looking through and you're like, oh, the AMA messed up again. They put 40 and 40, but then you're like, oh, it's points per moto, and it'll mess you up a little bit.
But, yeah, it's like the overall is like,
yeah,
it is what it is. Because it's the points per moto. I mean, it works out, with the averages, but yeah, I don't know. I think there's not a single one in this top five that's not even at least a little bit surprising, right? I mean, even if to me, they're all the top five, maybe a couple of them, I would have said like, oh yeah, they'll be in top five, but maybe not necessarily the position they'll be in. Chase, maybe. But if he would have had a better Moto 2, he would have been up a lot higher with a second in Moto 1 and a 10th in Moto 2,
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
have put him 5th overall, but not because he went 210. Because he went 5.5.
Yeah. I mean, I think the one that probably surprised people the most was Ferrandis. I mean, I don't know how you can kind of slouch on that dude outdoors anyway, or any of the Yamaha riders for just because. I mean, you got Craig that still came in 12th, and he's a 250 guy that's filling in. And then you have Plessinger, who looked, I thought he looked great. I mean, especially in the second moto, him and Roxon were putting on a good show. You know, Barsha, I guess, kind of surprises me, not because he's bad at outdoors, but just because you never really know what you're going to get with Barsha. So it is kind of difficult to say, I guess I would call it, you know. And then you got old Max Ansey down there in 13th place too. So I guess I kind of expected him maybe 15th through 17th, I guess I would say, you know. And then I mean, that 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th place overall, that surprised me. I expected a handful of those guys. You
It
know,
wasn't until just now that I realized that those 4, the 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th finished in a row like that, are right next to each other in the overall.
Oh yeah,
and that's just especially when you consider that they were right there beside each other in the overall. Obviously, when you look at their moto scores, it's a different story. But yeah, that's not what I thought, not what even people playing pickups thought where any of those guys were going to end up. I think Osborne's maybe the most, unfortunately, least surprising guy to be in that group with the back issues.
yeah.
Maybe it's just round one. Maybe it's round one and back issues. We won't know till next weekend and then the following weekends, really.
Yeah.
We having Webb, Tomac, Osborne, and AC finished 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th was not how I thought this weekend was going to go.
That's just looking through it. It looks like they both fell off quite a bit in both of their motos too. I mean, Cirillo, first place, Moto 1, threw it away like he did in Loretta's, almost the same way too. He just, I don't know, tried to do like a weird little scrub where you probably shouldn't throw a weird little scrub. And
I think, that and then going down that downhill, just front wheel just did not cooperate when it hit the ground. But also, that's you can't. We gotta. I don't think we can go without talking about AC being 2 seconds faster than the rest of the field during the race.
Yeah, I didn't really look at too many of the lap times. I was out running around in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean,
So
he was. There were in Moto 1. Let me pull it up. Moto 1 when he went down, or about the time he went down. Yeah, when he went down, he was running 2:18s. And the rest of the field, the fastest they did were 2:20s to 2:21s. I don't even think even Moto 1, by the time the 450s got out there, they weren't even hitting 2:20s. Oh no, Webb hit a 2:20 on his third to fourth lap. The way they have that marked is odd. There was not a lot of 2:20s even going on in the 450 class like there were in the 250s.
yeah,
And for him to be running 2:18s, so I mean, that was a byproduct of him just going in an unnecessary speed for the track, or he just had a mess up that he probably might would have had anyways. But he was hauling ass before he went down and messed up. But he still messed up. Doesn't matter how fast you were going if you fall down.
yeah. that is very true. It doesn't really matter how fast you were going if you're out there doing dirt angels.
Yeah.
But he charged back pretty decent though, which I mean, I'll give it to him. He doesn't really give up, which is kind of nice, but
yeah, but at the end of the day, if you can't go out and pick back up and then start doing 218s again the next lap, then it was all for naught. If you could have just been doing 220s and not wrecked yourself.
Very true. And that's old Cooper Webb got to lead a lap in the outdoors too. It was in the first moto, led one lap.
Lap number 5.
Yeah, and then old AC and Ferrandis just walked. And Roxon dominated the first one the second one on paper.
Yeah.
AP was knocking on that door though. And I liked, I heard his interview with Weege where he was like, yeah, it got a little shaky out there. So I just backed it down. He goes, because I had more, but I don't want to wreck out.
Like they were killing it out there. I wanted to look at, where is that? Yeah, because I kept watching Ken's lap times and AP's lap times there at the end to see if he was going to be able to catch him or not. And they were, of course I can't, 94 and number 7 aren't on the same sheet. 223s. Yeah, they were just kind of alternating ish. Not exactly like a one every other lap, but there were times where it looked like, oh, AP's gaining a second, and then all of a sudden he'd have a slow lap from lappers or just bad track or whatever, and he could never quite catch up all the way. And if that's, like you said, he was talking about in his interview that it probably didn't feel safe pushing it, and that's what you got to know to be able to finish 2 motos is know when to keep pushing it so you don't eat it like AC did, or just keep going,
Yeah, and that's David. I have no idea what happened to him in the second moto. He just forgot. I don't know. He fell back a lot. I think first lap he was 3rd, fell all the way back to 12th by the time it was over. So I'm not really sure what happened there. I don't think he wrecked. If they did, I don't remember them showing it. It was just he was almost like he was just along for the ride, man.
Yeah, I'm watching right now, like 10 minutes in, he's still in 3rd. I don't think they really showed what did happen.
He finished in 12th. So I mean, I have no idea. Did he dump it again?
He just started fading.
Got tired. The weather was almost perfect out there. So
21. Anderson got by him on lap 8. Marv got by him. And then Eli and Greg got by him, along with Webb and Sexton. He must have went down around lap 10 or 11 because a bunch of guys got by him between lap 10 and 11. He must have went down again.
What was his lap times through there, man? That'll tell you right away.
10 and 11. Where are we at? 450 Moto 2 lap times. I got too many windows open. 10, 11. Oh, his lap times around lap 10 and 11. Oh, lap 11, another 5 seconds slower. Either he just slowed down or he fell down for just a quick second in the corner and got right back up.
Well,
he did start moving down a little bit slower, but not significant. He just went, or after lap 11, he just got slower and stayed slow. He was putting down 230s or slower the rest of the race. And the
almost up to a 240, man. Like, he was getting up there. I can't tell if that's a 6 or an 8. I'm not wearing my glasses, but
6s.
Yeah, and that's
6 on at the end. Yeah, he must have just fell over and had a tip over in the corner when they all passed him at lap 11. Because I don't remember seeing it in the race. And my replay is not quite there yet. Still fourth there. 6th. 7th. Oh, something happened right there. I don't know. Maybe I'll see it in a minute. But yeah.
Yeah,
So
I don't know either. That was a good question. I didn't even
AC
think to
had
look for him.
speed. He could have done something. He could have done something interesting. So it'll be interesting to see if he can put together, and this can be his worst, or hopefully maybe his second worst max finish for the rest of the season if he wants to be in championship contention. Because last year, I mean, granted, the field was a lot different last year with Roxon, Webb, Anderson being out effectively out of the championship, but Zach won with an average finish of third, and his worst finish being a 16th by far. So he's going to have to kind of get it together. He can't be wasting his bad finishes on round one. None of these guys can. Webb, Tomac, Marv even. Well, Marv finished in 7th overall. It's not too bad, but if you're gonna limit it, you're gonna have a really good average finish. You can't be wasting them on round one. So we'll see how next weekend goes and see what that looks like. Because if Eli finishes ninth in round one, round two, just send it home for the summer.
Not looking good for Yamaha. He'll be practicing blue a little early.
But possibly, yeah. Yeah, they might. Kawasaki might just be like, hey, let's just call it a couple months early and just be done with this. We'll red check.
Yeah. And that's
for now.
I don't know, man. I expect AC to come out swinging. Maybe it was just first lap jitters. The track was really rough. I don't know. He's usually pretty decent on a rough track, though. Like, decent. I expected more out of Zach Osborne with the track conditions, but
if Zach's back's really messed up, then that's one thing. But I think with AC speed, if the track really is that rough, then that's asking for messed up. But I think, but to your point, though, this track is so different than what we're going to see for about over half the season with all the tracks out east.
Yeah.
The guys that do well on this type of track may not do as well on the tracks out east that are fairly different on their own right,
Yeah. I mean, it's a totally different it's basically a totally different surface. Mm-hmm. But yeah, David, Alex did fell down. Alex was also dealing with bike issues. He does not like the power delivery on the Yamaha. He says it's almost got too much. Said it just hits like a freight train. So
not like
I think he was struggling with that a little bit all weekend, basically from practice on Thursday all the way through to the number 2 moto. So at the end of the second moto. So I don't know how much of that was rough track and how much of that was him just not gelling with the bike right away. I would like to blame it on the rough track, but hearing him in his vlog kind of complain about the bike hitting too hard kind of made me double think that as well. So
it'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the season. They're not 100% identical twins, obviously, but to see if they're going to be open, if Alex is going to be open like that with the comments, to see kind of maybe if it's a thing to where the star team's able to tune that Yamaha just a little bit better so that, Jeremy can get it.
Well, Jeremy's also used to that bike. He's been on it a couple seasons now, where Alex came from a different bike, I think. So, I mean, I'd imagine there's quite a bit of power delivery difference between the old Suzuki and the Yamaha. Yeah,
for sure.
But I don't know.
Yeah, AC's just getting trained right here by these guys. They just that pack of guys just caught up to him and just passed him. He just slowed down. He didn't fall down or anything. They just caught up to him and passed him.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know. So I didn't catch all the races. Running around, doing work stuff and
real race shit.
Yeah, like doing races and stuff this weekend. And of course, all my races are in the middle of nowhere, so I have zero phone service. So I usually have to go back and try to rewatch most of the races. The ones that I did see, though, it didn't feel like a national. You know what I mean? Like it felt like I was watching. You remember that old Lucas Oil on the Edge races where they would just go show like random racing from wherever? It almost felt like that. I don't know if
drag races.
Yeah, like I don't know if it was the way the production was kind of put on, or that everything wasn't like super gelled up, but the whole race itself kind of felt forced, from start to finish. Like it was almost like these guys weren't even ready to go necessarily. Yeah, it just, I don't know. It felt weird to me.
I think this is an odd one for it to start at. There's just nothing. I mean, yeah, you look at it, it's got the layout there. For it to be an outdoor track by technicalities, but it just doesn't feel like an outdoor track.
Maybe that's what it is, because I see people riding on it literally every day. So
yeah, so there's that too. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it has that. Oh crap! It's time to mow the grass and clear it out. It's time to get this track ready that's not getting used all the time.
yeah,
Type thing.
Washugal's the same for me, man. Like I know a lot of people up in the Pacific Northwest that race up there, and it's the same way. Like when it's the nationals there, I'm like,
Yeah.
it literally feels like everything else. Like they just had a Loretta Lynn's qualifier up there, and I watched all of that, and it was the same. I was like, it feels the same as the national or a non-qualified race. Like it's weird when you do have the opportunity to watch a lot of amateur racing that happens on these tracks. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's the pro guys. And you're like, I know they're going faster on the TV. It doesn't feel that way. And I know the atmosphere, like on the actual grounds, would probably be way different. But over the TV, it feels like I'm just watching it like on YouTube or Racer TV or anything like that. Like it just, I don't know. There was a huge disconnect, at least for myself, this weekend.
That's an interesting observation. I wouldn't have thought about it that way. I know for me, just it's funny that you said Washougal, because I was going to say like Washougal to me is one of those ones that has the feeling of an outdoor track when I watch it, and that's just because maybe it's just purely aesthetic. This track doesn't look cool. It doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel like they're racing in the outdoors.
Yeah, it feels like they're just kind of there to throw a bone.
It's got basically 2 cool obstacles for me, and they're all pretty much the same corner. The split lane left and the down to the right up to that top hill. That's the coolest part about the track. There's rarely ever any excitement there unless somebody gets pushed off the side going up the hill, and then that split lane left before they go right back up into it. That's generally the most exciting part of the track. And then, like you and I were talking about before the show, that section this year, the way they redid it right around the mechanics and the finish line, that had a couple opportunities to show some like really cool speed for some guys, because there was some stuff even in the 250s. Like I think that was one of the spots. Jet was really good at making up time over those jumps right there, and you could see it the way the camera showed there. But yeah, this track it's like I still remember watching it last year. The only thing I can really remember getting excited about was that the left right uphill, and after that it was like, this track just, I think disgusting is a strong word, but as far as like just looking at watching some of the other tracks,
pleasing.
Yeah. At least when you watch Iron Man, you're like, oh, it just looks cool out there. It's something to see them flying. Fly in the Washougal, they're flying through the trees.
They got that crazy whoop section. Same with Millville.
Yeah, even Millville last year when it was nasty and like rainy-ish looking, it just seemed like a cool outdoor track. This track's just, everything's brown. It's hard to look at and watch because of the lighting. I don't know. I could go on. I think that's part of it for me.
Yeah. And David did bring up a thing. It could be the camera work as well, but I don't know. I lived like a
Oh
couple
yeah, if they
miles
had
from
a
that track for 10 years, man. It looks exactly like I remember it.
yeah, I
It's
mean, if they had an unlimited
just
budget, for
brown.
sure the camera work could help out, right? They could put
Yeah.
more cameras in more corners, and they could really have a lot better placement, and people to control the cameras and which
I
shot
don't
is
know
getting
why they
used.
don't
But
use more drones like GNCC does for outdoors. You know what I mean?
that
I don't know. I don't know
that
why
could,
they don't do it.
I never even thought about that. That could really, especially on a track like this where there's no trees to get
Yeah.
around, be the perfect one for it.
Yeah.
Especially that section around the mechanic and finish where it's a bunch of 180s type stuff. It's all like relatively more tight. That would be a really cool way to do the drone. To kind of go back and forth.
Yeah.
My flight simulation in my hand. This shows some of that a little bit better instead of having like one camera really far off and be like, oh yeah, see, they take the right and then they go that 180 around the mechanics and then they disappear for a few seconds and then you got it coming around the other way.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
just thought of that
Maybe it's
too.
a
I
maybe
was
it's a
like,
budget thing. I don't know.
So you're telling me Racer TV has a smaller budget than NBC?
My hands are in the air.
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe they're maxed out on their budget and they can't afford to hire a really cheap drone operator. Or I don't know. Maybe
Maybe.
Racer TV was like, hey, we just don't need cameras. We just need drones.
Yeah. I mean, they have a bunch of cameras at the races, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It was, let's see, 450s. Ken, do we want to just say WTF or kind of wait till next round to see if he can do it again?
Man, I'm all about that waiting until the next round to see if he can do it again. So that top three, I did not expect. I maybe somewhere like the 7th to 12th range for all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
I did not expect that, and I even made a comment like I should have just trusted my gut and with the Yamaha guys, but they're so young, and at least Dylan is, and then Aaron is pretty much their flagship rider, but at the same time, you're like, was Supercross, were they just feeling it? Was it just like him and Mookie kind of just jiving? Because they always seem to link up during the whole Supercross season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had a hard time putting my money down on him, man. And then Roxon, I don't even know how to feel about that one. I definitely expected more out of like some of the other factory guys that do practice there a lot. Like I expected Sexton up towards the top. Musquin, I expected him up towards the top a little bit further than what he was. I didn't pick him for the top 5, but I was not going to be surprised if he was in the top 5. Same with like Tomac, Cien Cirillo. I expected those guys up there,
Yeah, I think Marv, for me, Marv's never been a guy to me that I would say just has the balls out speed.
Yeah.
To just pass guys. He's fast so that if he gets the great start, he's good. And from what it looks like and what I remember in these, he finished kind of where he started. He had the speed to stay there, not get past, and that was that. I think I'm not saying he's not fast because obviously he is, but I just don't know. Maybe he wasn't feeling this track, and maybe we need to find a different type of track for him where he can show off his like real technical skills, to where he can make up seconds on guys. I just don't. He didn't seem to have it. He started 10th in Moto 2.
Finished 7th.
Yes, I mean he made some guys, but some of those guys fell back like AC did in Moto 2. So I don't know. I think, yeah, I think for me the biggest thing was I would have expected Ken to go 1-6. The fact that he went 6-1 is the surprising part. He said he didn't change his settings all day.
Just feeling it, man.
He said he was feeling it, and I guess if it's one of those things when you're doing settings like that. That's the biggest thing for outdoors and for Supercross too, but it's even bigger for outdoors. Is doing your settings for practice. You gotta try to be like, how's this going to translate when the track's beat to shit after 2 hours of racing on it?
Yeah, and
And
that's
maybe Ken's setting that he was felt with and okay with, and just figured he'd stick with it. Turned out to be the best setting he needed for Moto 2. But granted, this is just one race. I don't think we should be worried about his health issues right off the bat. If you can go 6-1.
Yeah, it was a cooler day out there, So we'll see once we get up in the hot, muggy stuff. I can ride all day in the desert, man. I get wore out riding around here where there's actually humidity. So
yeah, July is going to be interesting for all of them, where they take that break and then it's just 4 weekends in a row, right in the middle of July, or just over the whole course of July. Just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting.
I can see the old 6th place finisher, Jason Anderson, man. I can see him being a silent assassin, messing up some people's championship runs, dude. He had a good day, dude. Like, and if he keeps that up, he's so fluid. Like it's really fun to watch him ride because he just has a weird style. I don't know. I hope he does good this outdoors. I don't mind Anderson at all, and to see him come out this week and do pretty well, I was pretty excited.
It's good to see him be there, finish 6th. I think that point you made about messing up some people's championships. If you have guys like Barsha, Sexton, I think Sexton has if his average finish is higher than a 5th, I don't see it being much higher than 5th. But you have guys like Barsha, Sexton, Anderson, and Marv, who, if they keep this up, are clearly that kind of 4th through 7th fast every race, right? They may not have it to where, except for maybe one or two motos, maybe not necessarily for an overall, but just one or two motos where they're up there feeling it. Those are the guys, like you said, that could really mess up people's championships, because that range right there could keep people from hitting the average points they need. If you're not feeling it to where you're not 1st through 3rd that weekend, but you got guys that are running at 98% that can get that 4th through 7th every single weekend.
Oh yeah,
they don't have the standout speed, but they've got that 4th through 7th speed, and you can't keep with them either. Then all of a sudden you're down there in 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th.
Yeah,
because you can't fit in that. So it's like a buffer zone there between this hella fast 3 guys in a moto, maybe not necessarily weekend, but in a moto. And then you've got that range where it's like, nope, we're just fast and we'll swap between ourselves. And then you've got the rest, or not the rest, but 8th through 12th. That could really mess up how you get your points.
Yeah.
And so you got to be on either side of that, or you
well,
want to be on the top side of it.
Those 4 guys, they don't typically make stupid mistakes, and they don't do dirt angels. The only one that we don't have a really long rap sheet on is Sexton. But, I mean,
he put in solid work last year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And even through Supercross, except for sand sections, he was good, man. So I really don't. That very well could be where they're probably most likely going to pull away from the rest of the top 10, but I don't know if they have that every week, every moto of every week speed to be in the top 3 all the time. But they are kind of in a league of their own most races, I feel like. So
yeah, the fast and consistent guys, not the hella fast and for one moto, but the fast and consistent guys for sure.
Oh yeah.
I made a note about one of my first notes I made in 450 Moto 1 was Barsha passing Eli. We've already touched on Eli. There wasn't much that came from that. Barsha was just faster than Eli this weekend. Who would have thought? But then Ferrandis and Sexton.
So one thing that I am looking forward to is, like we talked about it in the preview, is Ferrandis outdoors, Sexton outdoors, and Plessinger outdoors. Those guys, I have a feeling this year, are going to have some battles back and forth. They're both really smooth. They're both young. They're both have good fitness, and they're both, they're all three of them are good outdoors. So I expect quite a few battles, maybe through that buffer zone, where everyone kind of gets gapped out and you start getting the races for the 4th through 7th positions. I can see them battling through there more often than not. However, I could see all three of those guys taking moto wins this year as well. So it's I have a feeling that is where we're going to get the most of our outdoor, like, bang for our buck, is with those three. And then, I mean, you still have Osborne, Tomac, Cianciarillo. Don't think I'm going to throw Webb into it, and if Kenny's on, then Kenny's right there too. But I'm still hesitant on Kenny. But like, those three, I think, are definitely going to be. They're going to be the entertainment for this year, whether they're battling with Tomac, Osborne, Cianciarillo, or something like that. But I definitely see them up towards the front. At least more candidates for that. Maybe 3rd through 5th. Right around in there. I can definitely see that. So
yeah, it'll be. It's so hard to take away too much from this one race. The track being the track that it is, and then B is the first race of the season.
yeah,
there's so many different factors that could make this be
but a lot of those
almost
guys,
an anomaly. But
yeah, well, a lot of those guys we've seen outdoors for the past couple years anyway. So it's the only one that we really haven't seen that much of is Ferrandis. But I mean, pretty much everybody that I heard of called it. They were like, "Don't sleep on that dude. Like, he's good on that bike. He's good on any bike outdoors. So."
Well, there were some times too where I saw him, doing some stuff on the bike that was just really exciting to watch. And I remember, I think, like we talked about in the previous show, that it's just exciting to watch him. It was exciting to watch him on the 250, and hopefully, he's still filling on the 450, and it clearly looks like he is.
Yeah.
And I was looking, I think I had made a note about the first moto, Sexton's lap times. He was relatively, within the range, consistent. And even at the end, when he was trying to catch Ferrandis, he was just putting down some killer lap times there at the end of the first moto after they were beating up the track, and he was just dropping times on Ferrandis trying to catch him. And that's, for somebody to be able to stay that consistent within a 2 to 4 seconds sounds like a big range, but outdoors it's not that big of a range when you consider the track over the time. But for him to stay within the range, especially for the last half of the race, within a 2-second range, that's awesome. He was just out there killing it and catching it. I remember I made a note of that because it was pretty insane watching him do it through the whole time.
Yeah, definitely. That's I expect big things out of him this year, man. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I hope he's able to keep it on, and we get to watch him over the course of a whole season and really, kind of, not to nitpick him, but I want to analyze and see what he's able to do.
Yeah.
Just to see. I'm pretty excited about it.
I don't know. I'm excited just to see him live again. Like when I got to see him at Loretta's last year, Iron Man, stuff like that. I'm definitely excited to see him again, So it's I don't know. I like watching him, and I'm excited to watch Ferrandis on a 450 outdoor live too. AC's fun to watch, but you'll watch him a couple laps, and then all of a sudden you won't see him for a couple seconds, and you're like, "What part of the track did he wreck on?"
Yeah. Let's see. Go ahead.
Oh, I just had a random thought. I was like, oh, excuse me. I was like, I really hope that they bring back the 125 All-Star race for a lot of the series this year as well. So,
oh yeah, I haven't heard anything about that. That would be interesting if they do that. My standout performance guy from Supercross, Savachi. He was doing good, man. He fell down in the second moto, and then came back, made it for an 18th. He got a 14th overall. I'm pretty excited to see what he's able to do. He didn't let me down. I mean, he fell down in the second moto, so there's that. But to make it back and give an 18th in the second moto is pretty good after falling down. So I'm excited. I think Cody Schock. We talked. Didn't we talk about him in the preview show? He was doing the 450s, and then I made something up about how maybe that translated to his awesome Daytona performance in the 250 class in Supercross. But for him to come back and all of a sudden just 15th overall,
yeah,
on the 450, awesome. That's great work. Dean Wilson took some bars to the nuts.
Yeah,
didn't get to finish the second one.
That's the Rocky Mountain team. I definitely expected more out of, because that is kind of their home track.
Well, I mean, so if Savachi he got 12th overall in the first moto. I don't know. Look at who finished in front of him.
I don't
think he could have done a whole lot better.
I don't know. I think they probably could have. I mean, I don't know.
if he could have done better, how much better do you realistically think he could have done? 10th?
Maybe like 8th, maybe. It's
yeah.
I mean, when you're looking at it, who was? I mean, you had Tomac, who forgot to show up.
I think everybody that finished in front of him championship winners also, right?
Well, yeah, Ansi finished 12th. Yeah. No, 15th.
No, first moto, Craig, Anderson, Tomac, Muscan, Cianciarulo, Roxon, Webb, Plessinger, Barcia, Sexton, Ferrandis, all those guys that finished in front of him.
Yeah.
That's every single one of those guys is a factory guy.
Yeah. But, I mean, the caliber of team that he's on is not far removed from being a full factory team anyway.
Oh, no. Yeah, definitely don't take away. I just think you could probably argue this a lot of different ways, but the way I was looking at it was you got all the factory guys, and he was the best of everyone else.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to take anything away from him. I was just playing home field advantage, man. That's kind of like, especially out of that team, because Bogle, you never really know what you're going to get with Bogle, so it's kind of, like, he's their flagship guy, man. So that's kind of why, and we know what Joey can do, so that's kind of, and I figured, well, since they literally live like a couple miles from that track, it just kind of made a little bit more sense to me. But
He could. I think he could have done some work if he wouldn't have fell down in that second moto and had to work his way back up.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe he'll get to do some real work. Um, yeah. It's,
So I was
trying to
just
look this.
looking down through the privateers, kind of see what they got going on down there.
Oh yeah. Let's pick. Let's touch on. I wanted to do that. This for every one of the races, just kind of pick a random since the results are separated by fours. We'll do next time. I'll do my research so I can talk about it a little bit more. But we'll just pick.
Oh, Nicoletti was another one that I wanted to talk about. Old Filthy Phil, man. What happened to him?
Oh, so let's just this was quite the privateer, but let's start 21 through 24. This is a cool section. So Phil, I think he went down in the second moto. I think he was talking about. I think for him to come back and race this, that was still pretty good for him to get 23rd overall. It
Yeah.
was kind of funny that he got beat by 21st Tyler Medaglia from
Canada. He's
Canada. He
he's
was
actually
racing.
pretty good up there, man.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, he was up there. Him and Phil were going at it in the Canadian Series the last year or two.
Yeah.
But he came down 21st overall on a loaner gas enduro bike, enduro
Yeah.
gearing, enduro tank.
He's not bad. I think I
That's-
actually have a picture of him when he used to race for Babbitt's Canada on my wall in my office, which was 2 or 3 years ago, I think. I can't remember. But that's because I was like, who is that guy? And I started looking up like who he was, and I was like, dang, that dude's actually pretty good. I wonder why he never came down, like down here, you know. I also didn't know that he was a Canadian resident either, which makes a little bit more sense why he would stay up there and keep doing the Triple Crowns. But
and then Heart Ramp 22nd,
that's about where I
21st Moto
expected
1,
that. Yeah.
19. That's the max of where I thought he was going to be at. After seeing his Supercross performances, I was thinking he wasn't going to be able to hold it together for 2 30-minute motos. I figured he'd fade hella hard. I wanted him to do this or better because I remember seeing him have the fitness, have the endurance on the 250s last year. He
Yeah.
had some hella good rides. But just very underwhelming performance in Supercross. I figured that he just something wasn't right for him, and he just wasn't going to have it. But he had it. Phil finished 23rd. It was pretty good. Like I said in his interviews, he talked about going down one time. He could have done a little bit better. Jacob Hayes, man, it's exciting to see him after his leg injury that he went through and that serious trauma situation he was dealing with that. It's exciting to see him come back out and finish there in that top range with the privateers. It'd be interesting to see. I guess he went down in the second moto too, because he finished 20th in the first moto. So that'll be exciting to see what he can do. That will be really exciting.
Let's see.
Yeah.
I just realized that of all 41 people, there's only 5 Yamahas, and 3 of them are the factory team. Or 6 Yamahas, and 3 of them are the factory team. It's like all KTM branded different colors and Hondas, man. A couple Kawasaki's, but
KTM. Speaking of, man, I can't imagine how pissed Ian and Roger probably were when Max's bike ate it in that first moto.
What are you gonna do, man?
I mean, yeah, there's nothing you could do, but like somebody there was probably just somebody there. I'm not gonna say all of them because ideally you stay calm and you're like, it happens. Somebody probably got the grill afterwards and was like, what the hell did you do? Why did this happen?
I didn't even hear what they said was actually the problem.
I don't think they
sounded like it was breaking up real bad.
I don't think they said other than I saw a lot of speculation based on the color of the smoke, obviously, but
yeah, it was breaking up real bad. I heard it in one of the highlight videos.
Yeah, started losing oil. Something, some seal or something must not have been done right. But
I mean, that happens on those race bikes, though. They get the crap kicked out of them.
It happens. It's just unfortunate, first moto of the day out there leading of all the bikes that could happen to,
It could have been
back and showed the second moto that he still got the speed.
What was it? Zach Osborne that got the new tank without gas in it? Could have been that.
Oh yeah. It could have been a bad thing.
That one I can see where you can yell at somebody. But if it was like a legitimate like mechanical failure and not a mechanic failure, I don't know how you can really yell at anybody.
Well, that's the thing is like until you know if it was a mechanic versus a mechanical failure, you don't know until you tear the bike apart.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And so it's just out there at the track to be like, somebody better be able to show me that this was not a mechanic's fault and that it was a part that there's no way we could have done anything on it. Yeah. Yeah, lots of KTM umbrella bikes out there killing it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Not a lot of Kawi's.
There is no, and it is pretty much almost all. I have a feeling you're going to start seeing more gases than you do Husqvarnas also.
2 Suzukis? Just 2. Huh. I didn't even notice that. Very interesting point.
That's unless Husqvarna figured out a way to fix those carbon subframes, a lot of guys are switching over to gases because the subframes don't crack on you mid-moto. So
can't have that happening.
No, not even a little bit. But so I have a feeling you're going to start seeing a lot more gases show up, a lot more red bikes, not as many.
I was excited. They got the color situation straightened out or relatively straightened out. I still don't think it's perfect, but it's better than it was in Supercross. The color markers on the the leaderboard on the screen. They finally got them color matched to the logos, even though it's still not perfect to tell. It was better than it was in Supercross, where whatever color was they gave gas a white or whatever. It was just like, oh, the bikes are clearly red. Why is their logo white, or why is their thing white?
Yeah, they should have just made the gases like purple or something, dude.
That would have been sick.
I mean, I might have considered one, but and then I don't know what they're gonna do now that they're powering the beta bikes too, and they just came out with a 450 motocross version of one of those running a KTM Husqvarna gas 450 motor in it, motor, trans, rear end. So I don't know. Are we going to have two red KTMs on the track at the same time, dude?
Can't hurt, just the more the better. More the merrier.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, I think that's about, without going into detail on everybody, I think it's probably about the general stuff. Do you want to do the sauced it and the drive of the race?
Yeah, we can, man. So the drive of the race I did. So at first I messed it up. That's why at the beginning I was sitting here like looking stuff up and typing. So I did their overall finish position by where they started in the moto, rather than, I hate the way that the AMA sets up their Moto 1, Moto 2 start finish. So if you've never been on the American Motocross Results website, when you click on it, it goes qualifying, start, finish for Moto 1, Moto 2, and then laps led for Moto 1, Moto 2, and then finish for Moto 1, Moto 2. And it is very confusing when you're sitting here trying to figure out who passed more people than somebody else. But we do have Nate Thrasher, who, as far as I can tell through the sea of numbers, got 23 people. And I believe that was moto number 2. I just heard a little person. Oh, yep, there's a little person in my basement. And then we have Anderson and Savachi, who both went with 20 passes apiece in their respective motos. Hi, baby. Give me a second. That just happened.
I feel like something broke.
Yep, it was BROTACO Hot Sauce.
Oh, off the front of the desk. Uh-oh.
It's all right. I got more. We'll get it figured out. But, and then speaking of the BROTACO sauce, apparently Doug is going to win that this week. But we both picked AC, man. Just completely based on his complete wipeout. So that's the wipeout, push too hard, his Bubba scrub without the scrub, or the Bubba, I guess it would be, you know.
Yep.
So it's you bailing out on me, buddy? It's other than that, they're excited, man.
Pumps.
You gonna come over now? Hi, bud. You gonna say hi? So, oh yeah, you see Mr. Tiller there? Luckily, there's not a whole lot of people listening right now because they're all out camping or hungover or sunburned or on the lake or. Yeah, this is what I'm talking into, bud. Either way. What? Yeah. Yeah, that's for the BROTACO sauced it moment of the race. That's kind of, or races, I guess we should say, because we are outdoors now. We both picked the old Adam Cianciarulo for obvious reasons. I couldn't think of really. I tried to think. I couldn't come up with anyone else.
No, I mean, even watching the races over again and looking at the results and talking about them now, I think outside of or inside of the top 10 for positions that matter the most. They all matter. His fall in that first moto after leading and going so fast was by far the biggest one. You know, we determined he didn't really eat it in the second one. It was just when you're leading and going 2 to 3 seconds faster than the rest of the field, and then you eat it like that and can't get it back together.
Yeah.
Sauced it.
Oh, yeah. Definitely sauced it. But other than that, I don't have much else to add, man. What about you?
No, I think
I got to clean up a hot sauce bottle. But
got to save as much of it as you can.
Yeah, that's my basement smells good right now, though. It was the
avocado.
The avocado, yeah. So it was definitely. Oh, my kids found the keyboard.
I gotta order some more Brap sauce. I just used the last of it up. I pulled a Doug and put some on a little pizza for the show.
Dude, I told you, hot sauce on pizza belongs, man.
Oh yeah, I was in there. I was getting it out with like a toothpick and stuff to make sure like I got as much out of the bottle as I could. I'm not even playing around. I gotta order some more of that. I got plenty of the pineapple and avocado left. I'm all out of Brap sauce now.
Oh yeah, that's I got to get I think I have another avocado upstairs. I got a nice little shelf in my pantry full of BROTACO sauce. So now I got to add one more, but it'll be all right. I'll definitely use the that actually works out as a pretty decent segment going into our goodbyes. Got the BROTACO hot sauce. I know for sure I'm going to go on brotacofoods.com right after we're done. Use code PTTG for 20% off my new bottle of hot sauce. And I don't know. I'll have to order 2. Put one in the fridge, throw one back up here on my thing. The biggest problem I have is this table is so heavy because I might or might not have borrowed this table from Buffalo Wild Wings, so it's really heavy. It's like one of their outdoor bar tables. It sticks to my basement floor. So when I went to go move it, it like jumped.
Oh,
and it was just like
for a second.
Yeah, just that bad little glass break sound that everybody loves to hear. But while you're out there running around on the internet doing some of your ordering, hit up sunstar-braking.com. Look for the support email, which I believe is support@sunstar-braking.com. Use anything to do with PTTG and the subject and get 30% off. That goes for both Sunstar and braking products carried in the United States. So pretty much all dirt bikes, most of their four-wheeler line. Get you hooked up with 30%. So, hey, $1 saved is $1 earned in my book, man. So,
yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
Also, don't forget, stop over at power2theground.com. Hit us up on Pick'ems. That's what we forgot to do, man. Let me jump into that real quick. Jump into the Pick'em stuff, dude.
Oh yeah, we didn't even get to talk about who won.
Yeah,
okay.
Not me.
You like my quick graphic real fast?
Hey, it works, dude.
Little snippet. Yeah. So this weekend, like I said, Mike, if you're still listening, man, you're only 7 points behind. That's not that far. We had plenty of 7-point swings last season in Supercross over it. So yeah, Lester, Richard, Cole did pretty good last season. He had some rounds where he killed it, but 3 points between the winners and the losers this week, or between us and
the rest of the field.
Yeah, and so we'll see what happens. But yeah, Lester, Richard, and Cole, congratulations on being tied for first this time around. Jesse kicked our asses this week. We'll see. Let's see if we can make sure he stays in it and remembers to do it every week, so he can't lose by default like he accidentally did in Supercross last season.
Oh yeah, and that's I have this thing, but it's hard to read because it's so big. So we might have to.
Yeah, I mean, basically what you need to take away from this, if you can look at it, was there's a lot of red. Red means whoever you picked in, like look at everybody that we all picked, or all 10 of the people on the screen right there, picked for 452nd place, weren't even in the top 5. If there was a shade of green, they would have been in the top 5. Yeah. None of our 452nd places even made it in the top 5, so
we are professionals, dude.
Yep.
But
we're not perfect. We're not perfect, but we're professionals.
Right. But other than that, guys, it has been real. We will catch you next week. We're at Thunder Valley, up there in Colorado.
Thunder.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty excited because I remember AC was killing it there last year. And if he's already going that fast this year, maybe he decides to back it down a little bit, play it smart. But I don't know. Maybe he puts it together and just murders it next weekend. I'm excited.
Yeah, that'd definitely be fun to see. But I don't know. We'll have to jump on the Discord, man, and talk about it. I have a community garage sale or whatever, so I'll definitely be watching it while I'm sitting there inside of the garage trying to talk people into buying my junk. But
ooh, I think I should stuff to sell. I might bring you up to Ohio.
You're more than welcome, man. Come down here in the old basement studio that smells like avocado sereno.
Spicy.
Oh, yeah. Studio. What? We'll catch you guys later. It's been real. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you if you were watching this after the fact. And also for all our audio users, we thank you guys for listening. So until next time, we'll catch up with you. Bye.
Peace.